he throws hands, and he throws heavy hands, right? He's the kind of guy that can knock you out with one punch, right?
Right.
He's a joy to watch. He's going to go all out. The only thing he doesn't do is he never fought in a 5-round fight before, right? He's gone decision. Jeez, one.
I see 24% of the time he's went decision. Thiago does.
I'm looking here. Last time was August of last year. He went unanimous decision. Before that was 2015 unanimous decision.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been, a lot of those decision fights are probably early in his career. But when we're looking at this guy, I mean, he throws. But the problem is with him throwing, he leaves himself exposed, right? And Jon Jones is one of the greatest fighters. That people like to say one of the greatest fighters of all time. I like to say one of the greatest cheaters of all time. But with that said, he should still win this fight, right? And he's the kind of guy, like I mentioned before, I expect him to fight, not to lose, okay? He hasn't been that impressive. He beat up Anthony Smith, right? Last fight, he did a good job. He beat him up for 5 rounds. But I think Anthony Smith was accelerated too high to championship level. Before that, he beat up an old Gustafsson, right? So he hasn't been the same fighter since being reinstated for his drug use. It's 100%. You can ask Jon Jones fans, and they will begrudgingly admit that, yes, he too much. He doesn't look like he did before. Mm-hmm. But with that said, laying 650 is not even worth doing it, right? You might as well just put your money on Santos and hope for a victory, right? But at this point, when I mentioned Thiago Santos, his cardio is not going to last 5 rounds, okay? He's going to come out there, and he's going to throw bombs and haymakers, leave himself exposed. You're going to be excited. You say, man, this is one of the best fights I've ever seen. And then the second round's going to come, and he's going to slow down a little bit. He's still going to have all that power. Same thing in the 3rd round. And if it goes into the 4th round, I don't know. And that's where I'm looking at Jon Jones by TKO, right? Mm-hmm. Or knockout.
Yeah, technical knockout or knockout.
Plus 160.
Yeah.
That's a good number, right?
Yeah.
That's where I expect that to go.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you at all. If there's any play on this, from what I've seen Jones do, it's swing and suck your guy in and beat him up. I mean, only 30% of Jones's fights have went decision. The 24% from Thiago were probably guys that just try to get him on the ground and and try to kind of outlast. There's fighters that fight for decisions. And it just feels like Thiago, the only time he's went to a decision is because of situations like that. But when he fights anybody that's throws like Jones, it feels like there's absolutely no chance of going this. As a matter of fact, the odds tell you that the fight doesn't go decision is minus 435. Fight goes decision is plus 325. So I guess Jones could win by a submission, but which is also a little bit of plus money, or you can just take the fight doesn't go the distance at minus 200. But I personally like the TKO because that's what we're going to be looking for. Definitely not a huge bet by any means, but I'm going to bet this one with you, and I agree. I like the plus 160 here, my man.
Yeah. Listen, all these guys that Jon Jones has fought before, let me just go back a few fights, right? So Anthony Smith was his last fight, defended his belt, decision. Gustafsson was old, 3rd round, TKO with punches. Before that, he did knock out Cormier, but that was overturned because of his steroid use, right? So then we had Oliver St. Preux in 2016. That was a decision. Cormier, that was a decision. Before that, Glover Teixeira, that was a decision. Gustafsson, decision. So the last time, right, besides this Gustafsson fight, where he knocked somebody out was Chael Sonnen, right? And Chael probably shouldn't have been in the ring with the guy, but he talked his way in, and that was 2013. Okay, so it's not like Jones is lighting people up, right? Like I said, he's fighting not to lose. But the way that Santos is built, the way he throws, I don't know if his stamina will be able. He's never done 5 rounds before, so I could see him if it gets into the 4th round being completely exhausted, taking a punch or taking a flying knee and going down in the fight ending.
Yeah, I think you're betting more on Santos here going down. I agree with that. I agree because it's who he's fighting. Yeah, I did look at the record, and you're right. There is decisions on Jones, but just the profile of Thiago, pretty much tells me this thing is not going and the odds tell me it's definitely not going the distance.
Like I said, like you said in the beginning when we started talking, right? Go back and watch the fights, right? And it's wild haymakers. It's wild and it's fun, and somebody's going to go down and Jones will, listen, can I see Jones getting clipped going down? Yes. That's how good the guy is. But the odds are telling me probably not. I think Thiago's got a lot of mileage here, which isn't good. But, look, I'll root for Jon Jones in that knockout because I got that plus money in there.
All right. Fantastic, my man. Well, we're about out of time, Danny.
Thank you.
Wanted to thank you for coming on, talking about this fight this weekend. I think there's going to be a lot of people watching it. We have a big holiday weekend going on. Be safe this weekend, my man. I'll be tweeting at you. Have a couple beers, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy yourself.
Yep, you got it, my man.
All right.
We'll talk.
That was Cub Fan Danny. You can tweet him at Cub Fan Danny if you have any questions about the fighters that he discussed, or if you have any questions about some other fights. Danny knows these fighters and would be more than happy to talk to you about them. Everybody have a great 4th of July weekend. Be safe and go get some winners.